What is up, DTube? So today I want to talk about my view on this Brave New World concept and how I look at it. And it's one big aspect of it. How I look at it, it's basically less technology, which is like less less computers, less smartphones, less need to upgrade all the time, and maybe even go like many days or even weeks without any like technology use. So I can see how my habits with technology is kind of changing. um in like 2015, 2016, maybe I looked into the smartphone a lot to browse for data, but now my habits are kind of starting to change a bit, and I actually do it like less and less in many ways. So the technology is just like sitting there, and I don't really have to use it. If I don't really have to use it. And I think that this is where the general trend is kind of going eventually, where especially with voice assistants eventually, how that's gonna speed it up even more, where you don't have to look for some kind of like daily data point. So Brave New World for me is basically less technology, and it's kind of interesting because I have a smartphone channel where I even did some of the first like smash tests on some smartphones in 2011, and it was almost like intuitive wise that I knew that in the future we're probably going to need to use less technology, because a lot of the things that we want technology to do, it can already do them in the cloud. There is like not so much that you have to constantly look 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 for. So for example, with automation, you can set up these things so it can do things in an automated schedule. So let's say you have like 30 videos that you want uploaded. So you can, like, at least on YouTube right now, you can set them to schedule them to have one every day that kind of gets uploaded. So you have all these like automation features that are also coming out, that also kind of helps. For example, with DTC, how it helps is how you can like store up voting power forever, so you don't have to have this like fear of missing out on power, like you have with Steam Power or Hive Power, where you really have to use it right now or you're missing out big time. But now with DTC, and with how the voting power works on the Avalon blockchain, you can just store up voting power forever, and it's just like, it's way better. It's a way better system. Or we can take with Hex, how people had these like super long-term stakes that goes on even all the way up to 15 years. And it makes it so people are setting up these systems that are going by themselves, and they don't really have to like do something like some super important activity for the day. Things are just like moving on its own. So yeah, so the way I look at it is, yeah, as I said, there it's just like Brave New World for me is basically less technology, and maybe people get interested in the real world eventually again. Because there's really not much more you can do with smartphones. Like, the only thing new coming out on smartphones right now is like they're always like upgrading and making the camera really good. You used to have just one camera on the backside, but now you have three or maybe four sensors on the back. And if you have bought the S20 Ultra or like the new iPhone, and you see how good cameras we have right now, you can see that the camera capability is also starting to kind of peak out. And there's really, and the display has been amazing for many years. Charging speeds are super amazing. I mean, you don't that does really make a massive difference if you can do a full 100% charge in 1 hour or 30 minutes. It's starting to become that fast that it doesn't really matter that much, and people are sticking to their devices. They can stick to their devices 4 to 5 years, which means they have more opportunity to kind of like save value, maybe stake it in Hex, or maybe get some DTC coins, or maybe get some Bitcoins. So people have more like value over, and they like consider like, do I really need a new device right now, or some new technology right now? Not really. So that's kind of like an interesting kind of trend there. So yeah, I think we are starting to peak out in terms of technology, and where people are gonna really start to consider like, do I really need a new upgrade every 2 years? Or can I just like hang on to this for like 5 or 6 years? And it seems like you can actually hang on to many of the devices now for 5 to 6 years, which is kind of good because people, if they don't upgrade all the time, I mean, that's kind of good, right? It's probably good for the climate. So yeah, that's basically Brave New World for me. That's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, DTube.